Today we're going to be building cabinet drawers for our van, and this is what the final product will look like. If you've been following my build, you probably know that I'm going for kind of a unique look that's maybe a little bit different than what everyone else has done. And I found these really nice stainless steel drawers that I think look really nice, and they'll be combined with a bamboo front. So I think the bamboo and the stainless look really good together. I'm going to walk you through how I build these drawers. The first thing you do is you pick out what size drawer you want. So my top two drawers are going to be these M height, which in my case I think the drawers end up 4 3/4 inches high. I'm going with the third drawer down is going to be a B height, and then I have a D height with single galley. So you start by picking the drawer size you want, and once you've picked the drawer height, then each of these has essentially 4 components that you need to order. They call a cabinet profile, which is actually the drawer slides, and you just pick the length. And in my case, I didn't quite have enough room for a 20-inch depth slide, so I went for an 18. So I've got 18-inch depth slide, and you can pick either 75 or 150-pound slides. I picked the 75, so in that case I ordered that part number right there. And the next thing that you pick is the drawer sides. You can pick either gray or stainless steel. Obviously I picked stainless. The gray are less expensive. I didn't think that it was so much less money that it was worth. I thought the stainless was a nice upgrade for the difference in price. The next thing that you order, the third part, is the rear fixing bracket set. So this is the cross piece that goes in the back, and this is going to be a different height depending on what size drawer you order. So you just need to make sure that, in my case, I ordered 2 of this size drawer, so I ended up with 2 sets of these, 2 sets of these, 2 sets of these, and then this is the front fixing bracket. So you'd order a set for each one. Now, one thing I've noticed is that even though my drawers are all different sizes, the drawer slides are exactly the same on all 4, and even the drawer profile is the same. The only thing that changed on my 3 different drawer sizes I have are the fixing brackets got bigger for the bigger drawers, and if you do end up ordering a drawer with the gallery rod, the rod that goes across the top, then there'll be a 5th part that you need to order, and that's the gallery rod. So here's an example of a taller drawer that uses a gallery rod. Slides, drawer sides, you would just add 2 gallery rods for whatever depth drawer you have. Here's the taller fixing bracket, and then the same drawer on front. When you go to build your drawers, all you do, they'll make it really easy to figure out what dimensions to build the bottom and the back for your drawer. So in this case, ICW is inside cabinet width. Mine is 15 inches, which they're using millimeters, so that's about 380 millimeters. So you do 380 millimeters minus 24 millimeters. So in my case, I think it came out to 305, 304 millimeters, something like that. So all I did was cut my bottom to 304 millimeters. And then you do the same thing for the drawer back. So you take the drawer back is inside cabinet width minus 87, and then the height is fixed at 84. So this is 84 millimeters high. This is everything you need to build one drawer. So I have 2 drawer sides. I have 2 rear fixing brackets. I have 2 brackets to attach your faceplate. I've got a drawer back cut to the dimensions that were listed in the instructions, and I have a drawer bottom. The only thing missing here is the drawer front, which I'm going to do later. First thing we're going to do here is we're going to attach our drawer back even flush with the top and screw it in on the back with 3 number 6 half-inch screws. Now I have one completed drawer back. One thing to note here is this use 5/8 material for bottom and back. At my local home improvement store, the only 5/8 material that they had was that white covered press board. And it's basically MDF, which is mostly glue and wood chips, with a white, I don't know, melamine, I think melamine's what they call it, top. And I chose not to use that. It's really heavy. So you may not like what I'm doing here. You don't have to do this. That's why this is my van and not yours. I chose to use 1/2" Baltic plywood, which is, it's very light, much lighter than MDF or melamine, and I'm covering it with the same vinyl as my floor, which is about 1/8 of an inch thick. So that gets me the 5/8 that I need. For the back, I used some 3M90 spray glue, and I glued the vinyl to the wood. For the drawer bottom, I'm just letting the vinyl float, and that does leave one unfinished edge on the top here, which, I mean, if I really care, maybe I'll screw down a small 1/2" angle piece of aluminum here, but it's at the back of the drawer. I doubt that I'm going to care. So now you take your drawer back and you just snap it into the drawer sides. Alright, back is in. Next step is to pre-drill the 3 holes in the bottom of the drawer side. And be sure, if you're not covering it in vinyl like I am, that you don't drill all the way through. And using the same 1/2" number 6 screws, you go ahead and attach the drawer sides to the bottom. And now we have one completed drawer bottom. And there's your completed drawer box. All I have to do is take my vinyl, and there's my completed drawer box. For the bigger drawers that have the gallery rod, there's a clip on the end here, and it clips in right here, and then there's this bushing on the end, and you would drill out, let's say this was the faceplate, you drill out the faceplate, this would insert into it, then this plastic piece will slide and cover that joint so you don't see it. And what you're seeing here, this is a protective wrap so I don't scratch it, but this gallery rod is stainless steel too, so it'll match the drawers. So that's what you're seeing here, as well as the protective covering. So the whole drawer, the drawer sides and the insides, are stainless underneath the protective wrap. Now that we built our drawers, now we need to attach our drawer slides to our cabinet, and our cabinet is made from this extruded aluminum. So I'm using these roll-in nuts, and they have a little spring on it that helps keep them straight in the channel. So the nice thing about these is, normally if you're going to use carriage bolts, you need to be able to access the ends of the slots, and in my case all my framework is attached and I'd have to take it apart to slide carriage bolts in. So there are a number of fasteners like this that you can just roll into place without needing to access the end. So I'm using these roll-in inserts along with an M4 by 12 millimeter hex cap screws, and You need to be careful about what kind of screws you use, because normally this would be attached to wood using a screw, and a screw sits a little flatter than something like this. These would be probably too thick to use, and this is probably a rub on your drawer slide. There's not a lot of space, so these work fine. There's probably other screws that you could use. You could probably use an M4 screw that has a little flatter head. That would probably be even better, but these work fine. So this is what we're going to do. So we're going to attach these to our framing. Looking back to the instructions, this is the drawer box, and here's your drawer slide. So they show this dimension of 33 millimeters minimum, and that's if you mount the slide at the very bottom of the drawer. So that's what I'm doing. I want the drawer slide to rest on the bottom of the aluminum, so I'm going to set the height of my crossbar that's going to support the drawer slide at 33 millimeters. So I found this does not need to be exact, but basically I'm setting the middle of that slot at around 33 to 35 millimeters on both sides. I'm inserting 4 of these little roll-ins. The manufacturer has recommendations on where to put the screws when you're mounting these, but of course they're intending for you to mount them into wood, so it's a little more important there where you attach this thing. So I'm not using these first holes because they're supported by this crossbar, which is really stiff, not going to go anywhere. So I'm using, I can't fit a T-nut necessarily in here, so I'm using this hole, this one. I've got one in the middle, and then I've got another one all the way at the back here. So save yourself the frustration of trying to get those T-nuts in exactly the right spot. I'll show you how I have been doing this. My first T-nut's right here. The next hole I want to use is right here. So I just leave the first one loose, slide it to it's in the right position, and then go ahead and insert the bolt. And I'll move to the next one. The next hole I want to use is here. My T-nut is located there. Line it up. Insert my bolt. Now look for the last one. The last hole I want to use is the rearmost one. Slide it forward till I find the T-nut. It's right there. And put it in. Okay. Now I slide the whole thing forward so that it's flush with the face, and then I tighten it down. Then I leave it a little bit loose because you can move it a little bit within the channel. So I look at this distance here and I just eyeball it And once I've got it level all the way across, I go ahead and tighten them down. Alright, now our door slide's installed. One tip I have is while you're working on this, if one of those little spring clip inserts gets misaligned, rather than take it apart, just get your screwdriver in there and using the screwdriver, just push the spring clip back into place to get it realigned. Here's how these front fixing plates work. The front just screws into the back of the drawer face, and then they click into the front of the drawer here. So another great thing about these drawers for a van is there are a bunch of adjustments on the side here, and that will allow you to, once the drawer face is mounted, you can move the drawer face up and down, you can tilt the drawer face, and you can move it left and right. So for someone like me who isn't totally precise at building stuff, it's great because I can get the drawer fronts attached, and if I need to move them just a little bit to make the tolerances better, it allows you to do that. So for me, that's a big plus, and that's one of the main reasons that I went with these. So in any event, these will be, there's the little bit of the stainless. I took off the protective wrap. They are soft close drawers. They're also full extension, so they pull all the way out, and they just work really nice. So I will put links in the description of the video that explains how to order these. I'll link the document that shows you how to put them together. In the instruction manual, there's essentially 4 pages for each size drawer that you get. So one page shows you kind of the layout of the parts and tells you which parts to order based on the length of your, or the depth of your drawers, and then what weight slides you want, 75 pound, 150 pound, whether you want the gray or the stainless, and then the front and rear fixing plates, and then also for the larger drawers, the gallery rod set. So I'll put all that in the description of the video, and hopefully that'll help you guys on your drawer journeys. Alright, until next time.